Today on History Bites, we indulge our sweet tooth in a delicacy from the Old West. It was said to be a dish that cowboys would ride 100 miles to get a hold of. Ranch hands were known to accept it in lieu of wages. It was, in many ways, the forerunner to an entire industry. Today, we rustle up some classic cowboy bear sign. When it comes to literature about the Old West, no one beats the author Louis L'Amour. In one of his novels, one of his cowboy characters says, "Time was, I've been kept making bear sign for 3 days without let up. Make 'em by the dishpan full and none left at the end. Men ride miles to get a handful of bear sign." But what he's talking about isn't the leavings of a bear after a big meal, which I imagine is on no one's list of things to eat. What got cowboys' stomachs growling was little balls of sweetened, fried dough that looked a lot like bear droppings and tasted a lot like what you and I call donuts. Donuts seem to have originated in New York, becoming popular among the Dutch settlers on Manhattan Island. By the mid-1800s, the donut was considered an American dish, and even though almost every culture on every continent has some form of donut, it's still held up as a uniquely American icon. Because the recipe was a bit harder than frying up a pan steak or cooking up beans, and because the ingredients were a bit harder to come across in the American West of the mid-19th century, and because finding a way to indulge a sweet tooth was actually pretty hard on the frontier, bear sign-style donuts were considered a big deal by Texas cowboys. In a bowl, mix a cup of buttermilk, 2 eggs, a cup of sugar, and a little bit of melted butter. Take up a second bowl and mix 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a little bit of salt, a little bit of cinnamon, and 4 cups of flour. Slowly add the mix into the second bowl to the contents of the first bowl, stirring the items together as you do. If the mix is stiff enough to hold up your mixing spoon, you're good to go. If not, add more flour. Knead the dough lightly for a minute or so, and then use a rolling pin or the heel of your hand to flatten the dough out to about a 1/4 inch thick. Cut the dough into pieces that will become your bear sign. Don't worry if they aren't pretty. It is, after all, named bear sign for a reason. In a skillet, add 1 inch of oil and heat it up. Brown your bear sign on both sides, then let them drain on a paper towel. The final touch, powdered sugar over the top. Now you're ready to gobble up some warm bear sign, cowboy. There you have it, the Texas Cowboy's delight. Bear sign style donuts, fried up right here on History Bites.